I'll tell you a story about just how powerful uh, something like that can be. I was only 5 years old when this happened, but I was at a church social, and it was a hot day in July, and there was a long line to get an ice cream cone, and I was in the beginning, way in the back. So finally, I got to the front, and I put my nickel down and eyesight and everything at the bottom.
Became a mighty battle cat, and I became He-Man.
Can I hide with you?
Oh, you want to know if you can hide with me or if I can hide with you? You choose. Would you like to hide together?
You hide with me.
Now we're under here.
28, 29, 30. Ready or not, here I come. Thank you.
Well, hi there, Dr. Shadburn and Dr. Crenshaw. Thank you so much for being part of the 4th Annual Innovative Child Therapy Symposium. I just adore both of you and admire your work. I recently, at the time of this recording, went to a workshop for the Association for Play Therapy, and I attended your one on empathy. And it definitely left me with knowledge, but it left me with something that was just unexplainable. I feel it in my body when I'm thinking about it, and it's something that really aligns with like my heart and soul. So when you said yes to coming out on here, I was overjoyed. So thank you. And I'm excited about our conversation. Before we get started though, let me have you just introduce yourself, tell people who you are and what you do. And let's start off with you, Lisa, since you're on this part of my screen. We'll just
Okay, hi. I'm Lisa Shadburn. I am a licensed psychologist. I'm in the San Diego area. I teach in the play therapy certification program at UCSD, and I also supervise RPTs and people who want to be RPTs. And I've been I've been teaching play therapy for over 20 years.
wow.
Yes, I used to teach at Alliant International, which was CSPP before that. And I've been in community mental health for many, many years and in private practice and school-based mental health. And I've kind of done a lot, but play therapy has been really where I have just felt home. And I really love teaching it. And I love connecting with this amazing community. So that's me.
That's a lot.
Oh, and I'm a mom. I have 2 kids. I have 2 school-age kids, one in elementary school and one in middle school now. So there's a whole new chapter of my life.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you. And David?
what an honor it is for me to be on with two of the most energetic people that I know in the field. Every time I pick up some kind of flyer, it usually has one or the other of these two fantastic and talented people on it. So I love their energy. I love their compassion and the work that they are doing, making a huge impact on our field. Now I'm a dinosaur. I've been around 53 years in this field, and most of the 50 plus years has been spent in the child welfare population, working in 3 different residential treatment centers as clinical director. I did have a stint of about 36 years of private practice, and I loved it. But there is something about the challenge of working with kids in the child welfare system that I couldn't resist. So I gave up my practice in 2013 and now just work with kids in the welfare system. These kids have little or nothing in the way of material possessions, but many of them have a fighting spirit that I admire and enjoy working with. There's hope when a child hasn't given up, who's still fighting. There's something worth fighting for. That's the key distinction as compared to kids who have given up. I'm honored to continue working with that group of children.
Wow. And you say fighting spirit, and I think about and you're talking about the challenges. It can be challenging, but I can't even imagine. It's not even quantifiable, the difference that you're making in the world.
Yeah. Well, I get laid out in lavender at least a half a dozen times a day, but I love seeing that passion, that sense that there are things worth fighting for, and they haven't given up, so I'm not going to give up.
Oh, it makes me think of that Friedrich Nietzsche quote, when there's a why, there's a how.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like you're helping them find the why and then helping them with the how.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's beautiful. That is the big kind of meaning for today's conversation. When you and Dr. Shadburn taught that workshop at ABPP, I sat right in the front because I just wanted to be as close to you as possible. And I learned a lot, but there was this feeling that just emerged inside of me as you told stories and you shared ways that we could really help nurture empathy in our child clients. And then recently, right before we started recording this, we were talking about the importance of the clinician being well and being nourished and self-compassion. So I would love just to start the conversation wherever it feels right about the empathy for self and others. And
Well, I love that, all the things we're talking about of what we can teach. I think as clinicians, we bring so much of ourselves into the room. And I'll tell you, even just developing this workshop with David, I am inspired just being around you. And the conversations we had, it just kind of flowed from really caring about the people we work with. It's not just, okay, I want to go in and do my job. It's really connecting with kids and being able to, I feel like we took this workshop not just from all right, how can we teach something, but this is important for us as clinicians and for humanity. Our initial title was about at raising compassionate kids and being able to inspire gratitude, empathy, and all of this being able to make the world a better place. And it's not just in how we teach things. It's not about techniques. It's about the relationship you bring into the room and how much you can empathize with your clients. So I think the multifaceted thing here is empathy for yourself, self-compassion, empathy for your clients, and also being able to help clients develop their own empathy for others.
Mm-hmm. As you're saying that, I'm thinking about a book that you just recently published, Lisa, I've got this, and I have it. I haven't got it yet. It's on its way to me. I've ordered it. And you make such a great combo, you and David, because your book is I've got this, and his is the reflections, insights, and hope for the child therapist. Just ways to really empower and nourish and lift everyone up, because the work we do sometimes can drain us.
Mm-hmm.
Sharing pain.
That's right. So we have to find ways to renew our energy and our commitment to the kids we work with, because it can be, if you see one child after another in a private practice or in an agency where you're working maybe with especially challenging kids, you can feel I've given all that I have, and it's still not enough. I think a lot of people in our field suffer from that notion that I don't have anything left to give, but clearly there is so much needed, and so that can lead to the feeling that this is impossible. What am I doing here? This is impossible. But I like to reframe that and think that there's so much that we can do, because these kids have missed out on virtually everything, all the goodies in life. So anything we do in the way of compassion, empathy, respect, kindness is something that most of them have not experienced in any consistent way. And those things make a difference in our lives as well as in our clients' lives. So the same thing that makes people feel hopeless makes me feel hopeful.
Ooh.
There's so much that we can do because they've missed out. They need so much.
Yes, I remember a story you told last year where you went into a restaurant and the girl was like, Dr. Crenshaw, Dr. Crenshaw. She's so excited to see you. And you sent her like a thank you note or a note or something, really just a bid for like connection and love. And oh, can you imagine what that must have felt like, especially if that's been scarcity or maybe even non-existent in anything that you've known in your reality?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And she in particular is one of the children that we work with in our Empower program, which is set up for kids who've been trafficked. So her soul has been dragged through the mud and injured in countless ways. But still, there was that capacity to respond to this guy, this old man coming into the McDonald's and greeting him in this sweet voice and with a big smile. And when I was talking to her about it later, I said, it's not only that I was touched that you greeted me in that way, but you need to know I've never been greeted that way going into McDonald's or any other restaurant. So it was very, very special. It really touched my heart.
Oh my God, just even hearing that story, that is beautiful. That's like something that isn't grandiose, doesn't require a lot of planning or money. It's human to human behavior. And it's just letting someone know that they really matter and they're important to you and you appreciate their human kindness. It makes me think of like in your workshop, you had, Lisa, I think you said you brought all those stones to Missouri.
Mm-hmm. I did. My suitcase was filled with rocks.
Typical play therapist behavior to be carried around little stones and glue sticks and stuff. And you had little, like, kind, beautiful things. You could see it. I still have mine on my nightstand.
Well, and that's something I think I love what you were saying, Jackie, in response to David's story, that it's about not just trying to understand someone or trying to be there for someone. It's about helping them feel like they are seen and they are heard and they matter. And a huge cornerstone of empathy is perspective taking, being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes. And as therapists, we need to be able to do that, to have that empathy for our clients, but also for parents think about how many parents feel like, oh no, they're going to judge me. You know, my child's misbehaving or something's happening. When my daughter first started kindergarten, I typically don't tell people what I do right away because a lot of times they're intimidated. They think, "Oh no, you're a child expert. You're going to be judging me." And I'm like, if you get, I'm the last person that's going to judge you, and you should see me on days when I haven't gotten enough sleep. You know, we're all humans, and so to have that, putting yourself in someone else's shoes, what I realized, and even in conversations that David and I had in prepping for this workshop, that doesn't just affect the person you're empathizing with and helping them feel heard. I realized it was affecting my view of the world. And a story that really takes that home was in the airport. And this is a true story of on the way to the conference, hearing a mom in the bathroom stall next to me, kind of losing it on their kid. Just, I don't want to hear another word out of you. I am done. And you know, the therapist side of you, I'm in a bathroom stall. I really shouldn't be. Is there anything I can help you with? You know, through the stall. So I had to resist saying something, but you know, the initial reaction could be, oh, that poor kid. The mom's yelling at him, and oh my gosh. And then you start to think, wait, this woman you don't know what it's been like to be in her shoes today. This may be the 12th hour of a 16-hour day, and we don't know what she's gone through. And she's at the very end of that holding it together rope. And so if we have that compassion, that empathy of being able to say, I can see where you might have been. And then instead of like, you shouldn't yell at your son, your reaction could be, is there anything I can help with?
Ooh.
You know, not through the bathroom stall, but perhaps when they come out. But I realize when I see someone in traffic cutting someone off, it affects me. I'm like, oh, you know, people in the world are so mean. Versus, wow, that person must be really stressed to have to get somewhere right away. Yeah. Now, sometimes that person is just, I want to go first. But there's a lot of times where people in the world, they're all doing the best they can and trying to meet their kids' needs, trying to get through the day. And that person who snapped at you in the store, maybe they're not a jerk. Maybe they just had the worst day of their lives and they don't have anything left in their bucket. Mm-hmm. So as therapists, not only can we try to help fill that bucket by empathizing and using perspective taking to be able to see something from their perspectives, walk in their shoes. But I realized that by teaching kids this, whether it's in helping to understand someone or helping to relate to someone who's having a hard day, or even perspective taking and gratitude, and having that perspective, it spills over into so many things, into kindness, into gratitude. Instead of just saying, oh, wow, grandma gave you something, write a thank you note, say thank you. How about, oh my goodness, what did grandma get you? She picked out drawing pencils. So she thought of you and she realized how much you love to draw and she went and picked out the perfect drawing pencils for you. That was so nice of her. What do you think we should do to show her how much this means to us? There's a different way of going about it that involves that empathy.
There sure is. I mean, that is literally, oh my goodness. Let me just kind of like, when you just described it, as I'm listening, I'm like, yes, my goodness, grandma's amazing. And that's totally out of context. That's just a scenario, just a way your intonation of voice, that love, that let's look deeper. It's not just a chore to really respond to someone in a grateful way. It's an actual, let's notice what happened and what that took to make that happen. Oh, that's so good. And that's just a quick little, just to change the way you say it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, it's pretty simple. What are some other ways? I know, like, you had on the workshop, you had some little cards that we could give out. What are some other things that you do in your practice to help nurture?
Well, let me speak to the cards really quick. You talked about the rocks, the cards, the gratitude cards. It's a very simple, I wouldn't call these all techniques or interventions. It's just a simple action you could do. I'll have kids or even adults make cards, like business cards, But instead of here's my business card, here's my information, the card can say anything from I'm grateful for you or thank you for brightening my day. Um, I love saying you make the world a better place with your kindness.
Oh,
Things that things that can show. And anytime when I'll use this with kids, I'll say, look for people who do something kind, whether it's for you or if you notice them doing it for someone else, and you can go give them a card and just say, I just want you to know you brighten my day. And you hand them that card. And sometimes you can do, I'll give you two, one to keep and one for you to give away when you see someone else being helpful or kind. And that puts a person in a perspective of looking for the good.
ooh,
It's not just about how you affected someone else. It affects both people in that interaction. The person who received the card might, oh my gosh, that's we don't do things like that in this world generally. And the person who's now looking to give out the cards is walking through that day with a whole different set of glasses, the rose color glasses. These are gratitude colored glasses and
Yeah.
empathy colored glasses that help them see that. So the gratitude cards were a PDF I was going to send you for anyone that gets your program or whatever.
oh, the
I
program.
Yes, I would love to share those, and I have a set that you could just print out like business cards. So I wanted to explain that because I love that interaction, and it's so simple to do.
You know, I'll tell you a story about just how powerful something like that can be. I was only 5 years old when this happened, but I was at a church social, and it was a hot day in July, and there was a long line to get an ice cream cone.
Mhm.
And I was in the beginning, way, way, way in the back. So finally, I got to the front and I put my nickel down. And of course, this was a long time ago. And the man behind the counter said, "I'm sorry, son, it's a dime." And I thought I was going to cry on the spot. How could I wait all this time and then not have the money I needed? And this stranger threw a nickel down. He said, "Let the kid have it." And I haven't forgotten that kindness of a stranger. I'm 78, so this is 73 years ago. And I remember it vividly. So I'm sure it meant nothing to him. It was just a nickel, even though the nickel meant more back then. But still, I doubt if he thought it was a big deal. But for me, boy, I was just so grateful. I didn't want to miss out on that ice cream cone on a really hot day.
Oh my goodness, I love the thought of a 5-year-old David Crenshaw, little Dr. David Crenshaw, waiting in line and getting up there, and then someone being so kind. My goodness, of all the things that shape and influence us. But I think from a neuroscience perspective, something like that, a memory, because I felt it. Did you feel that, Lisa? Like as he's telling it, that's resourcing. That's like that ventral vagal energy that makes a difference in how we are able even to show up in the day. And Lisa, what you were saying about the whole, just being kind and look, now we're programmed to look for the good. That's regulation.
Mm-hmm.
That right there. I mean, it seems like something very simple, but it's very profound, whether it's a nickel or whether it's a card or whether it's just a thank you. You're a gift to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Absolutely.
what flavor of ice cream was it, David?
It was vanilla.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and two scoops.
Two scoops.
Not just
Wow.
one, but two.
Prices have changed.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
but I think how vivid the memory is just points to the power of such an experience. For a child, this was the world. I mean, the thought that I had waited all that time and I was going to go away without my ice cream. This was just monumental to me. And I haven't forgotten it in all these years. And I look for opportunities to pay forward and throw the nickel down for another child. Of course, it's more than a nickel now.
I think you throw the nickel down like daily. I felt your nickel. Have you felt his nickel, Lisa?
I was thinking exactly the same thing, Jackie, that nickel is so symbolic, and it's about what we give to look for what someone else needs to fill their bucket, and helping. What is someone's nickel? What is their ice cream? Being able to help and fill that. And David, you do so much for so many people, and you still remain so humble and so empathic, and it's just wonderful. And I think about that. Look at that early experience and how you remembered that, how powerful simple kindnesses can be, and you now do those simple kindnesses every single day. And I think, was it in your Lifetime Achievement Award speech where you were talking about the ripples and how many people we affect? And if the exponential effect of that you are kind to one person, that doesn't just help them in that moment. What if that changes their perspective so they are now kind to two more people? And I use kindness, but we're also talking about compassion, doing something kind, or empathy, being able to look at someone with compassion and forgiveness and try to see their perspective rather than just writing them off. But those ripples are monumental. And I think David is probably I'm looking at millions at this point of the amount of people you've affected.
Yeah.
But it continues, even in this conversation right now, each person watching this today. What impact is that going to be on how they walk away from this and spend the rest of their day, and the amount of people that they can impact, whether it's in the therapy room or at Vaughn's, or sorry to name any specific store, but at a grocery store, anywhere. So I think that that's something we can always think about. And again, back to what we can do for our clients. Imagine the amount of hope that can bring to a child, and how empowering that is to realize that you can make an impact on someone else. You have such power to bring happiness, hope to someone else. And I have had a lot of sessions where we've ended up making gifts, like simple gifts, whether it's a card, or I love to make jewelry with clients, and we'll talk about, and as they put each bead on a bracelet, what that might symbolize and who they're making it for. And it puts them in this perspective of thinking of someone else and what they will like, and then knowing they get to give this to someone. And it's not about spending lots of money. They didn't have to go to a store and save up. They just get to pick out the perfect beads or the perfect this for someone. And again, it's all putting themselves in someone else's perspective and helping that to develop that empathy.
Oh, that's so good. So you have so I'm like, I need to go get some beads. You have like a bowl of beads, and then
Yes.
like what, string?
Mm-hmm.
And then they pick out a bead for something they're grateful for, a person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then all of these interventions have just so many of them come from my clients, the children we work with. And as they're doing it, we're thinking, oh, what if these beads, and it just organically goes from there.
I love it. That makes me think of like the title of your book, You've Got This, which is
You've got this.
It's a positive cognition in the EMDR world. And then in David's book, he, like on Amazon, I just ordered mine. So on Amazon, you get a little preview. The quote that's previewed there is, if you wish for a deeper connection to a child, you must enter through the portal of the heart. Whoa. That's beautiful.
From a neuroscience point of view, that's the right brain connecting to the right brain of the child or adult. That not everything that's important has to go through our prefrontal cortex, where the higher level thinking and reasoning comes from. I feel that in order for transformation to take place, we have to be able to touch the heart of the other person. That you can't do it strictly in the top-down approach to things, where you use cognitive modifications and dispute false beliefs and so on. You have to get it in the heart for it to really make that transformational difference. Now, of course, that's just my opinion. It's not anything that I think has been studied to the extent that we could say definitively that transformation comes from the heart. It's something I believe.
But I will say there have been studies that have shown that one of the most important things in therapy in order to have success is the relationship.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that is all about connecting. You know, you can come in with a ton of techniques and intervention, and if you don't have a connection with that person sitting in front of you, it's not going to be effective.
That's right.
So that connection is paramount.
Yeah.
You have to feel safe. You have to feel safe and connected, because like if you don't feel safe, it stops right at your brainstem, and then it doesn't get to the higher level stuff anyway. It does make me think about both of you. Like it's just screaming that Pooh Bear quote about like, hey Pooh Bear, how do you spell love? You don't spell love, you feel it.
Mhm. Yes.
You don't measure kindness, you experience it.
That's great.
You know, I love that you brought that up, because as I was looking at some of the research in empathy and trying to get, everything when we do workshops now, I want to make sure it's based in research. We have all of our our experiences, and I'm like, okay, let's back this up with some research so we can put it into a workshop. And looking at the things that we do need to develop empathy and what goes into empathy development, and being an empathic role model is one of the most important things. Being an empathic role model. Now, I saw some quotes as, you can't teach empathy, you just show empathy and they'll get it. Well, that's part of it, but there has been some research showing some of the things that go into empathy development. And obviously being an empathic role model is one, but experiencing being valued and respected, that's another important thing. A child or an adult, think about an adult who's never felt valued and respected. How can they learn to feel that for someone else? So when we value and respect them and teach them what that feels like, that's a next step into being able to value and respect others and develop that empathy. That exposure to positive social relationships. And that's another thing we're doing. We're helping them have a relationship with us as a clinician, but also helping them to work through relationships in their school life, in their home life, and helping them develop positive relationships is another piece of it. But one of the biggest things, and also emotional self-awareness, being able to recognize your own emotions. And that's a simple thing we often work on. But that big thing is perspective taking, being able to take the perspective of another person, being able to walk in their shoes. And so often, just like I was talking about with gratitude of, okay, say thank you. There's a lot of, oh, this happened, just say sorry. Well, taking it further in any interaction with the child and being able to say, oh, well, can we figure out what happened? What do you think they were feeling at that moment? That helps them not just see, okay, what you did broke the rules, but how did it affect someone else? And I remember this empathy was actually my doctoral project. That's how I was so passionate about this. It became my doctoral project. And reading some of the research, I was reading an article that talked about someone who had been stealing cars. And well, I needed it. The lady didn't need it. And it was this kind of, well, what about when that person comes out of the store or comes out of where and their car's gone? If that happened to you, how would you feel? David and I talked a lot about children and their capacity for empathy. And when children are very little, there used to be a thought that, well, kids can't feel empathy because they really don't have that capacity for abstract thinking. They can't imagine what if. You can't think, oh, I know what you're feeling, because they can't put themselves in other shoes. Well, what the research has shown and what we realized is kids can put themselves in someone's shoes and imagine someone else's feelings if it's something they've experienced themselves. So a 5-year-old will have no idea why mommy's upset about the mortgage, house payments, and that kind of thing. They have no idea. But if somebody falls and gets hurt, they 100% can understand what that's feeling. Or if a toy breaks or they lose something, anything they've experienced, they can be able to understand what someone else is feeling. So taking it further and being able to have them, instead of just say you're sorry, be like, oh, so if you were coming out of a store and you lost your favorite toy, what would that feel like? And they'd be able to understand what someone else was feeling that went through that same thing. So it's taking it further than just saying sorry, but being able to really relate to what someone else has gone through.
It puts some context to it.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like I'd never thought about it quite in that depth. And it's interesting, like that changes the whole treatment of, like, instead of telling them how to be kind, let's show up as, or not even just kindness, that depth. Let's just treat them like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great starting place right there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I think what's happened is that there's been so much cultural change. So that, for example, a Harvard psychiatrist wrote a book a few years ago that was called Empathy. Is it an endangered species? Particularly in the healthcare system. Mm-hmm. And he referred to a paper that had been written by 2 psychiatrists who worked in the managed care system. And they wrote this paper, and it was called something like In Defense of Listening. And I thought, oh my goodness, have we lost that art to the point that somebody now has to write a paper saying it's valuable to listen to your patients? But everybody caught up in this rapidly shifting and changing healthcare world, going at such a pace, frenzied pace. It's not that easy to take time to listen in the kind of way that Carl Rogers talked about, for example. He called it deep hearing. And he felt that when a person feels heard, really heard, that it changes both that person and the therapist. It's such a profound experience, such a deep encounter, that it can actually change a person. But it is an endangered species in today's world. And the same could be argued about respect and empathy and compassion. They're all endangered species because of the culture running at such velocity that people feel like they don't have the luxury to take the time to really listen and hear another person, which also shows disrespect and lack of compassion. And, it's all tied together. In fact, Lisa and I, in talking about doing this today, we considered 4 pillars to our work, and certainly empathy, respect, compassion, and kindness are all sort of tied together when you experience that kind of powerful changing influence. It's not one, it's all of those things that are connected to each other.
Oof. As you say that, David, I'm thinking of like a beautiful bouquet of like empathy, respect, compassion, and kindness. I mean, of
We
course that
talk
would
about the
change.
same thing,
Oh,
that,
really?
yeah,
I'm picturing it now too. Yeah, I'm picturing the bouquet
Oh my
and
goodness,
I
that's
can
kind of
see it.
amazing.
I like it.
yeah,
I like it.
yeah,
I might start making those with my kids, with the
yeah.
clients and my own kids. And what does your respect flower look like? What or your respect plant? It could be anything. What about the empathy and what about the kindness? And what else would we put in our bouquet?
Oh,
And I'm holding it close now.
oh. And what do you need to nurse those and to
Yeah,
water them so that they don't wilt?
yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's beautiful. And I think about going back to just where we started, where you were saying a lot of the people that we're supporting that come to us for healing, they haven't felt or experienced any of this.
Yeah.
So we're in a position to where we can really, really make a difference if we show up with those things and just in a really human way.
Yeah. So right.
Oh, I have that same feeling I had at your workshop.
Oh, I'm feeling so connected right now. I really am.
Beautiful. No, we're almost out of time, but I want to make sure people know where to learn more from you. I'm definitely going to have links below to your books. Like just if you could just mention where's the best place to get your books or whatever you have that could where people could learn more, or you could point them towards to learn more about empathy or anything you feel like is helpful.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think both of our books are on Amazon,
Yes.
and and David has a lot more books than I do, and they're amazing. But his newest book is absolutely an inspiration. And I know Jackie will probably be able to show a picture of that later, um, but it's I read it and wanted to buy 20 copies and then just hand them out to everybody that I know because it's not just wow, it made me feel good, but I was like, people need to read this. People need to read this to be, it's very inspiring and nurturing. It's a feel good kind of thing. And I think both of our books are also available at the Self Esteem Shop. Is that right, David?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And at the time of this recording, I haven't edited because that's it's in the making, but you'll see a picture of the books to where you could
Okay.
see in a link below as well. So you've got this and reflections, insights,
Yeah.
and hope for the child
And
therapist.
and
Oh,
I have mine I can show. And this one, I actually worked on this book for over 10 years because I wanted it to be just right. But the the purpose of this book is self-encouragement and helping children being able to go into a situation that they might be feeling discouraged. And we often talk ourselves down. Say, I can't do this. I'm horrible at this. And all the things we do that become self-deprecating and being able to be a friend to yourself and think about what would you say to a friend in that situation
oh,
and help say those things to yourself and have that self-compassion and self-encouragement. And it has a story in there um, with all kinds of relating to those feelings. And I'm incredibly grateful for David for reading the book and writing something for it on the back too. So yeah.
It's beautifully illustrated, and I think kids are going to love it.
Mm,
And the message is something that just like empathy is an endangered species, encouragement as compared to criticalness and
mhm,
discouragement is a major kind of loss for our society. Uh, we need to be more encouraging.
mhm.
Um, that's something we can't afford to lose
yeah.
because kids thrive on encouragement, and if they don't get it, they get discouraged and just have a hard time making their world work. We all need it. We all need it, encouragement. So this book is right on the money in terms of what's needed today.
I love it. The connection.
Thank you.
Would it be all right if I read what he wrote on the back of the book, or would
Oh,
I have it up
sure.
on my screen?
Oh,
Um,
sure.
so this is what Dr. Crenshaw said about Dr. Shadburn's book. Dr. Lisa Shadburn, who creatively knows no bounds, has written a book for children with engaging and colorful images and text that is so needed by children in today's world. The messages are ones of self-encouragement modeled at first by the teacher or parent and grandparent. Children need encouragement now more than perhaps ever before to counter the often negative images and messages on social media. I enthusiastically recommend this book to all who engage children.
Ah, warms my heart.
No, I feel
So,
it too, and it's not even my book. That's beautiful. I can't wait to get it.
oh, and I want to add just David mentioned the illustrations. The artist who did the illustrations, Bob Noonan, he's an artist that runs an art studio. He teaches art, but he worked with me for years. I mean, probably back and forth for 5 years to get these images on the money for capturing the emotions of what the kids are feeling in this book. So I'm so grateful to him too for all the work he put into it. He didn't just give me some illustrations and phone it in. It was a morphing of all of our ideas and being able to make this come to life. So very grateful for that.
Passion project.
Yes, it was a Praction product for sure.
I'm going to use mine. I can't wait to get both of them. I'm checking them out.
Oh,
Well, thank
yes.
you so much. I send my love to you both. You're doing amazing work in this world, and just the fact that you're just pulling this very beautiful piece out at this time, I think is incredible.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And we just, David and I got some great news. We get to do this in person again in Atlantic City at Eliana Gill's conference in June. We'll be presenting on empathy there as well. So,
That conference is so fun. I, it's amazing. The workshops, the people, the environment, Mid-Atlantic, Dr. Ileana Gill, it's incredible. I'll put a link below to that as well. So you're going to be teaching on empathy.
mhm.
Wow. Yay. Yay. All
We're
right.
excited.
Thank
Uh,
you for having us on.
oh
Thank
my,
you so much.
it's an
I'm
honor. I don't even have any words. You're amazing, and I feel so grateful that you came on.
Thank you.
Thank
You both
you.
have helped to fill my bucket today, and I'm very grateful for all the work you both do. And it's been such a wonderful conversation. And even every time I talk about this, but especially talking to the both of you, I feel re-inspired and ready to go make a difference.
You've got this.
And,
You've got this.
and you've got the energy and commitment to make it happen.
Oh, we can't end though without talking about at the end of your workshop, you were singing, and
Oh,
your singing voice, I didn't know you sing. I had
oh,
no idea. I was like, this is the most beautiful. You were up there, like you had Paris up there, and then David was like, I'm not gonna sing, but he was there.
is there? Yes.
I was
And
a
who else
prop.
was there? You were the prop. You were
Yeah.
it was beautiful.
I've heard though he's going to be singing and dancing in Atlantic City. So just so
Dream
you
on.
know.
Dream on it. That'd be a good song to sing.
Oh. Well, did you want to end on a song?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
You said
I
that.
I will do the same one because I learned the song I learned from Evangeline Munns, who is another amazing soul who just exudes empathy. But she said this should be done at every workshop ever because it's such a beautiful message. But I don't even know where it came from. But anyways, the song goes, how could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Wonderful.
That's beautiful. Made me cry.
Don't cry, you'll make me cry.
For tears of like, wow, that's beautiful that that kind of love could come out in that way. Well, thank you. I'm going to wipe up and get on with the rest of my day. It was so pretty.
Or I said that in jest. I should say tears are okay. Whatever you're feeling is okay.
I'm feeling love.
I am too. I've got my bouquet and I've got my friends and I am feeling so much love right now.
Oh,
Great.
all right. Bye. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Eyesight and everything at the bottom.
Became a mighty battle cat. And I became He-Man.
Oh, can I hide with you?
Oh, you want to know if you can hide with me or if I can hide with you? You choose. Would you like to hide together?
You hide with me.
Now we're under here.
28, 29, 30. Ready or not, here I come. Found you.